Rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You shame.
Does anybody have any questions about the agenda? No? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting? Kimberly first. Can I get a second? Katie, all in favor? 7-0. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. Good evening. I'd like to start off by extending our condolences to the Sachem School District, the community, the family of the young man that was tragically lost while training this past week. I know Mr. Pasamonte spent some time talking with the athletic director and the assistant superintendent at Sachem about ways to deal with this tragedy, and I thank him for that. We also took the opportunity to review our own safety features and concerns for any kind of training in the school district to make sure that everything was going according to our own safety plans, and they are. So I just want to make note of that. I want to mention, too, that I'm very proud of our Board of Education for their efforts in professional development over the summer. I'll just rattle off a few things of all the work that they've done. July 18th, a 5-hour board retreat on developing and learning about best practices for a Board of Education, which we will be continuing later on this evening. July 27th, we had 5 of our members attend the NYSBA Law Conference. President Rose, Vice President Lewis, Trustee Anderson, Trustee Hunt, and Trustee Perez spent an entire day learning about contract negotiations, changes to special education law, website accessibility, and a multitude of other changes in education law. Our new board members are enrolled in online mandatory training courses and/or attended in person these required courses related to fiscal management and Board of Ed operations. Last week, our board members took the time to tour the buildings to see the firsthand the progress of the great work happening at the Miller Avenue and Wading River School. So they've really shown a true investment of their own time and their own learning to provide exceptional leadership for our school district. So I want to thank them publicly for that extra work that they've undertaken. Last week, administration held our administrative retreat. The administrative council team worked on instructional supervision skills ranging from conducting observations of teaching, providing feedback to staff on instruction, honing leadership skills, and finally working together to start to develop our own professional development goals for administrators for the upcoming school year. I'd also like to say hats off to our amazing students and teachers for the spectacular shows they put on this summer. I wasn't able to see all of them, but I did get to see the high school musical performance at Prodell over the summer, and it was fabulous. I was blown away by what the kids and the teacher were able to put together in just a short time. Just sort of whetted my appetite for the school year performances, where I know they have a longer time to prepare and get ready for those. I'd like to welcome Ken and Derek, our architect, and from Park East for our presentation later on today. Just a quick update. To date, I have met with over 35 school community members, ranging from residents to business owners, to civic association leaders, to administrators, for structured interviews to help me learn more about our school district so that we can start to develop themes and patterns and goals for improvement. And I look forward to sharing more about that work in September. And just a couple of notes on outreach for curriculum. One of the areas we're working on this school year, that there is a new survey up on our webpage for community members to share ideas on our curriculum. We've scheduled 3 meetings with our PTA for the fall on curriculum areas, where there'll be some question and answer sessions as well. And we're working to reach out to parent groups through our principals and PTAs, PTOs, to add some parent representation to our district curriculum committee, which is currently composed of teachers and administrators. And finally, I want to say thank you to the Miller Avenue PTO. This evening, we'll be asking the Board of Education to approve a significant donation for things for the kids to beautify the school, and I want to thank them, for that. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Any statements from residents, Janice?
No.
Okay. Student staff recognitions? Okay. Old business, social media, Facebook?
Sure. So just some old business. Wanted to follow up on the district has been working on improving communication and public relations. So a couple things have happened recently. One is One is an update to the school logo, which we'll be unveiling this evening with you, and we're proud to announce the formal release of a district Facebook page. I want to share that this evening.
Is that our new logo? Beautiful logo.
I've seen that logo.
You've seen that before, huh?
I've seen that before.
You should get on that.
Great. So this is our the inaugural opening of our district Facebook page. If you look up on the left, you'll notice a newly designed Shoreham-Wading River logo. A lot of thought went into the logo. The blue and white colors are the dominant colors of the school district. You'll recognize the SWR. You may know that the S in between the WR really stands for the integration of the two communities along the way. Really happy with the new look and with the new Facebook page, and look forward to sharing a lot more information with the public through the Facebook page.
Anybody have any questions? No, but thank you for your efforts in this. I think this will be a great way to reach out to the community and share information as the year and the years progress. So thank you for that.
No, great.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay. Reports and reviews are January 3rd, 2015, vote approved capital project update, Park East and BBS.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. Tonight I'm going to provide an update relative to the bond. We're going to start with a summary of the completed projects. The high school roof replacements, the high school tennis courts, synthetic turf field, the sports lighting associated with both of those, the high school corridor locker replacement, and the high school library replacement. Starting with Wading River Elementary School, we meet with the contractors every week. We are tracking a master schedule associated with the buildings. Wading River, we recognize we're a few days behind, but every contractor is committed to making up those days. We have a big 2.5 weeks left, and everyone plans on getting it open for the start of school. This was created on Thursday last week, so a lot of the percentages have changed since then, and I will give you the new percentages associated.
So I'm sorry, is this an August progress report or July?
It's a July/August.
Okay.
It was created at the beginning of August, so typically we do it at the end of the month, but just the way it shook out on Thursday last week, I probably should have put July/August on the report. VRD is your general contractor at Wading River. New addition, the CMU is still at 95%. The brick has moved from 90 to 95%. The paint is at 15%. The ceilings, 40%. Floors are still at 0%. Windows are up at 45%. Finished work remains at 10%. The existing school interior renovations, the rough-in moved from 90% to 100%, and the finished work moved from 30% to 50%. Premier Mechanical, this is a mechanical HVAC contractor for Wading River. The new addition rough-in is still at 90%. The finished work moved from 20% to 50%. The existing school interior renovations, rough-in has moved from 80% to 100%. The finished work has moved from 10% to 50%. Long Island Roofing, they're only associated with the existing building. They're 100% with the demolition, 100% with their rough-in, and from 80% to 90% with the finished work. JVR Electric, it's the electrical contractor for Wading River. Their rough-in still at 90% for the new addition. Their finished work has moved from 10% to 20%. The existing school interior renovations, the rough-in has moved from 60% to 90%, and the finished work has moved from 50% to 60%. Hearst Plumbing is the plumber for the Wading River School. Nothing has changed with the new addition. The existing building has moved from demolition of 15% to 95%, and the rough-in has moved from 15% to 100%. Finished work will be starting next week. Here's some pictures associated with the Wading River School. This is some of the site work in the front parking lot.
So who's doing the roof on the new building addition? It's not,
The roof is
Long Island Roofing?
associated with the GC, VRD. They have contracted more roofing as their subcontractor. And that goes for both additions. Again, this is the site work in the front of Wading River. This is some of the brick installation on the new addition. Some of the mechanicals, ductwork in the multipurpose room and cafeteria in the new addition. This is the fire service and gas line. This is new ceilings and lighting in the existing building. Miller Ave. Again, we meet with these contractors every week, follow a master schedule associated with each of these projects. Miller Ave is ahead of Wading River. We recognize it as only a day or two behind schedule with the new addition, existing building, and site work. Again, the contractors are committed to making up that time. They're working overtime and weekends in an effort to accomplish that. VRD is the GC on this project as well. CMU remains 100, brick 100. Painting has moved from 80% to 95%. The ceilings have moved from 80% to 90%. The floors from 80% to 95%. Windows remain the same, and the finished work has gone from 10% to 25%. The existing school interior renovations, the rough-in has moved from 90% to 100%, and the finished work from 15% to 50%. More contracting. He just happens to be the sub for the new addition for VRD, and he's also the prime contractor for the existing building. His rough-in's 100% for the new addition. His finished work is also 100%. The existing school renovations, his finished work has moved from 90% to 95%. Our plumbing. Their finished work for the new addition has moved from 10% to 50%. The existing school interior renovations, their rough-in has moved from 95% to 100%. The finished work from 10% to 30%. JVR Electric from Miller Ave. The finished work on the new addition has moved from 60 to about 65%. The rough-in for the existing building has moved from 75 to 80, and the finished work from 10% to 25%. Premier Mechanical from Miller Ave. Nothing has changed with the new addition. The existing school interior renovations, the rough-in has moved from 75 to 90%, the finished work from 20 to 30%. Here's some site work photographs of Miller Ave. Some of the existing new addition, classrooms and bathrooms.
Just a quick question on the site work at Miller Ave and,
Sure.
and maybe for Wading River as well. When do you expect to see some pavement going down in there? Because
They're scheduled for the 21st, maybe a day or two after that. It's a little weather pending, but they're on target within a couple days of that paving schedule.
thank you.
This is the existing bathroom spaces. The demolition, they're well ahead of this. If you walk through today, finishes have started, masonry walls are up. This is some of the ductwork in the existing gym. To the left is that furry ceiling coming down. To the right is some of the new ductwork that has been installed since. Some photos of the new roof and the snow guards associated. The next slide represents the middle school. This is more contracting. It's a prime contractor on this project as well. This slide does not show where he is as far as production, but he is 95% complete with that project. All he is waiting for is the metal copings, which he expects in the next couple weeks. So he's ahead of schedule on this project. And here's just a couple of photos of that roof. The track at the middle school, Metro Paving. Again, this slide doesn't indicate their progress, but they are about 95% complete with that project. The rubber surfacing has been installed since Friday, Monday, and today. The irrigation lines have been pulled, topsoil has been imported, and they're going to start final grading that site and line striping the track lanes. Here's a couple photos.
So the field's going to be off limits for a year?
Yes.
And where are those teams going to play that usually play there?
They have found an alternate practice location as well as a game location on the middle school property.
Oh, okay, good.
I apologize.
Okay, good. Thank you.
The final active project is the window and door replacement at the high school and middle school. Arrow Steel Window is the contractor. They're about 50, they're probably further along with their submittals at this point. Their insurance is approved. Working on subcontractors, their bonds are approved. They have not mobilized. They expect delivery of windows end of October, beginning of November, and they'll be installing those windows and doors on a night shift following receipt of the same.
Is that the same for the Miller Avenue windows and doors on the existing building? That's going to be done?
That's VRD, the general contractor, has that scope. That will be done during nights during the school year as well. But I believe they're coming in advance. They're not going to be as late as October, the end of October. I think they're coming maybe the end of September. This is just a summary of the future projects, the remaining projects, the middle school additions and alterations projects, the district-wide phone system replacement, the high school interior alterations projects, and the fitness center alterations projects. That concludes the update. Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah. So with the amount of laborers that are on site, I guess the daily activity, are you guys following some kind of safety protocol? Make sure you're having toolbox meetings, lockout tagouts are being done on electrical systems. You know, is there a reinforcement of working in a safe condition?
Sure,
A lot of people
definitely.
working there.
It's a big focus of ours, safety, especially as you increase the manpower and the acceleration of the project. We collect toolbox talks on a bi-weekly basis. We talk in our weekly meetings about safety, and we follow just all the OSHA protocols associated. But it is a big focus of ours as well as all the prime contractors.
Thank you.
Great,
Anything
thank you.
So how's your confidence level?
High.
High? Okay. 'Cause
It's going to be a rough 2.5 weeks.
Just
We're gonna be
so,
working
yeah, just so,
weekends,
so everyone can hear you say, because I know there's a lot of people talking out there that are somewhat questioning whether or not we're opening school or we're shipping kids to another district or so.
Which you can understand, because when you drive by, it looks, you know,
I think once
the average person
the
probably
blacktop is
doesn't-
down,
Once
I
the
think-
asphalt's down?
Yeah, I think people feel
Okay.
settled.
We do track it. It's tracked daily. It's meetings weekly, and we have a master schedule that we're abiding by. Again, they're off a couple days, but we have 2.5 weeks,
And
weekends, night shifts.
and the current schedule for Wading River is the cafeteria is going to be open in
A week,
October,
month
November?
later.
Not just the cafeteria, just so we're clear,
Yeah.
it is the only spaces that are currently scheduled for occupancy the first day of school is the 4 additional classrooms. Besides the cafeteria, there's a restroom facilities there, there are storage areas. Those areas are all not set to be completed to on or about September 30th. So it's just the 4 classroom additions that are on schedule to be available September 5th.
so no instructional spaces will be
Impacted.
impacted.
Correct.
And all that work is going to be done on nights and weekends?
A little bit of both.
Up to
I mean, we will
September
be able-
30th?
We are safing the area off so that there will be no possibility for them to get into the hallway where the students are. So depending upon what type of work would be going on within a given day, if it is painting, if it is something quiet that will not impact the instructional program, then it could take place during the school day because they would be accessing that area through the back of the building, through the south entrance portion. They are not going to be accessing any part of the back coming from the north area where the playground area is. But any potential to impact the instructional day will not occur. Any type of work like that will occur in the evenings or over the weekends.
Okay.
Thank you.
Questions?
I just have a question for Derek. I know you, I'm sorry, Ken. I know you have a summary of future projects, and that's construction-wise, but where are we in design with some of these projects and SCD approval?
Yeah, for the future projects, the middle school additions and alterations project is at SED. It's been there since February. We have received our architectural comments, so we're preparing our responses and drawing changes to those comments. The district-wide phone system, we had a meeting today to follow some of that information up. I think we'll be putting that out to bid next week. The high school interior alterations project and the fitness center are currently in design. I anticipate separating those projects and submitting the fitness center ahead of the high school alterations. But I think in a few weeks we'll finalize some of our design meetings for the high school alterations project. So I think that's anticipated for SED probably around December.
Just to provide additional details with that, I'm currently considering approaching Mr. Poole with a addendum to the middle school project to actually take out this site work portion that was originally planned and then submitted up to the state due to the Villa Street not being accessible to us and continuing to explore a possible second egress. So in order to not impact going out to bid for the interior portion as well as the additions portion of the middle school project, I have been looking at the entire middle school scope and actually separating out any type of site work, whether it's the discussion that is still needed on the outdoor tennis courts, what areas, if I am able to gain any access to, I think it's Woodbridge Road, the road behind the back of this school. There are still ongoing talks with the property owners there as to trying to come up with a contract allowing a use of access agreement. So not to hold up the cafeteria project as well as the interior addition work, go out to bid as soon as possible so that we could still get majority of that project completed the spring of 2018 as well as the summer of 2018, and then come back for the site work the following summer. Now that kind of dovetails in with the high school site work because the high school design work is still, that is in the infancy stage. I'm also looking at possibly breaking out the high school project to do some work the summer of 2018. Any work that we could complete quicker and get it approved by the state education department to not jeopardize any type of state aid reimbursement will get us out to market without possibly waiting another year where the potential always exists for a cost increase. But the site work for the high school, that there's no way in getting that done for the summer of 2018, possibly bundle the middle school site work, the high school site work as one larger project, even though there are two state education department projects.
Does that have any effect on the design fees as far as breaking that packages into smaller ones?
I was just about ready to say, Ken has heard nothing of this until right now. So I haven't had any discussions. I don't know how he's looking, but I've had no discussions.
He's pale right now.
I mean, I'm sure that's going to also incur some additional oversight with the construction manager.
It's
If we're
not.
breaking up projects.
I don't see how, but I will entertain those discussions then, because it's still the same type of work, whether I'm going to have them doing the summer of 2018 and the summer of 2019 at one building each, or I do a little bit at both buildings the summer of 2018, a little bit of both buildings the summer of 2019. But as I said, I'm in the infancy stages of it right now, but I do think it's an important consideration to not do part of the job at the middle school. I think it's important for me to take the time to bring Jerry up to speed on where that project is. There's still a large open item about the need for the tennis courts. Do I replace 2 courts where there are currently 3? Do I turn that into parking? And there's definitely the need for a second means of egress. And I'm still exploring all of those options.
Based on what you said tonight, though, it appears there's an economy of scale if you're doing site work, right?
Right.
So you'll be able to potentially go out to bid for similar scopes of work and maybe get a better price based on what you're saying tonight, so.
That's how we just started thinking. It came to light, majority of it after the Villa Street option was turned down, and we this past Thursday and Friday when that play was, the parking at the middle school, even the summer, was just incredible. They were parking all along Randall Road, so there's definitely a need to do something, and I just think would be wise on the district's part to ensure we explore all possibilities before just taking the plan that we submitted up, which is our current bus design, our current bus drop-off design, and not try to explore any other possible options.
Just to back up on the question about the tennis courts, and I'm sure this was discussed at some point at prior meetings, where would the students play then? At the high school courts, and they'd be bussed
They
over?
get bused.
So they do
They get
now,
bused now?
the tennis
So they
courts
wouldn't
have-
be replaced potentially
They've been bused since.
for a couple of
years now.
Okay.
And even if we put just 2 courts in, that is not enough to run the interscholastic athletics program. The 2 courts would be primarily for phys ed classes only, and even for 2 courts, after speaking with the athletic director, it cannot take an entire gym.
No.
2 courts cannot fit an entire gym class, so.
Glenn,
That's a
under the-
discussion, though. That's a discussion that we have to have.
I agree, it's a discussion. And right now, it is submitted, what Ken mentioned earlier, it is submitted to replace 2 courts.
Is the auditorium under the high school interior?
That's what I'm trying to do for September 2018. That was raised at a board meeting, a few board meetings ago, that all districts, whether it's the 5th grade play, whether
Right,
it's moving up
it's all there.
ceremonies, they all use at the high school. So if there was a way to move that project forward, and I've been in discussions with Ken on that to see what other design scope can I add to that to take advantage
Okay.
and get out to bid, have everything in place so I can do it. It's going to be a blink for us to be at the summer of 2018. It seems like it's a far distance off, but when you try to do plans and submit to the State
Right.
Education Department to get the permits, to get the bids in place and be sure we could open up school, but
Yeah, some of the components that Glenn referenced for the high school, we're trying to do standalone architectural type projects. The auditorium seats, maybe some of the gym lockers, gym bleachers, things that can kind of be accomplished and submitted and approved by SED in a more expeditious manner. So those are the types of things we're considering.
The drawings that are on the website now for all of the capital work, last time I looked at it, some of it was a little outdated in detail. I don't
the
know.
drawings, meaning,
When you look at the bond, I guess on the left side of the existing website, you can pull up actual site plans.
Yes.
Some of it appears to be different than either what's being built currently. And those are really early
Those are for
drawings,
the
right?
bond vote. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are mostly conceptual.
So if people are looking at those, I guess they should be aware that that's may not necessarily be exactly what the actual plan is right now.
So can we get updated ones on there then, if that's the case? Is that possible?
well, the question is, do you want to like draw up as-built drawings, incur that cost, put them up on the website as opposed to the dated plans there show you they are from 2015 and they were in the design phase. Right now they could drive into the parking lot, they could look at the updated slideshow pictures. I'm not saying we can't. I'm just saying to like draw as-built plans.
That's not part of our contract for the design professional or the contractors to provide as-built?
Not for the website, the actual blueprints, yes. I mean, not the
Right,
scaled-down versions that are not considered plans, they're just considered drawings.
Yeah, I only raise it because I know when I look at it, I go, yeah, I don't think that's right. And, I haven't gotten emails or anything from the constituency saying, hey, these plans are right. So if people want to
I've
see more
received-
recent, they should send us an email so that we
I've
know.
received it.
Otherwise, what's up there is good enough, apparently.
I received a few different telephone calls. I was waiting until the summer projects are actually finished to actually discuss with Jerry about taking the design material off It's at a point where there are actual
Right.
completed photos of all of the high school work, completed photos of the Miller Ave and Wading River buildings, and just leave up anything. There really isn't too much left for the high school that there were design drawings. There's just left of the middle school cafeteria. So,
Okay. Yep.
yeah, there's really
No,
not
this is a
much
good
left.
discussion. It just,
No.
it's good to let people know, that may not be accurate
And there's
as
a few
is,
of them that call
what the plan
regularly.
is. Right.
Well, Glenn, thank you very much for all your hard work, because, you do a great job overseeing all this stuff, so thank you.
And thank you, Glenn and Jerry, for taking all of us on the tour. It was really helpful for us to see when you drive past, it does look very frightening, and I was afraid that I would go on this tour because I'm not in the industry and think school's not opening and we are busing kids to another district, but clearly that's not the case. There's a tremendous amount of great work going on there, and I appreciate very much you taking the time to answer all of those questions so that I can feel confident and I can share with the people that ask me that the work is being done and it looks beautiful, and I'm very excited for the school year. So thank you for your time.
I would just say thank you, Glenn. Glenn is treating this addition as if he's putting something on his own home. So there's great detail and attention
Don't
being
tell these
made.
guys. When I email them at 2 in the morning or 3, just a little personal.
Glenn, would you be able to just reiterate that we, even though this won't be the case because we seem to be on target and working to get to be on schedule, and I've gotten a couple of questions this week about just some rumors that we would need to move students from the elementary school at Miller Avenue to the high school. Can you just clarify the contingency plan and reassure the community that it does not involve moving children from building to building?
Sure.
Thank you.
Barring any unforeseen circumstance that would make either the Miller Avenue building or the Wading River building unoccupiable, school is opening inside of those two buildings without question. We currently plan on having all instructional spaces available for staff and student access. It would be a catastrophe to actually not open up the actual building at this point. There would have to be something materially occur. So I don't foresee that. I had met with one of the staff members that shared with me that concern about school. The Miller Avenue building, we're all going to go to the high school, and the Wading River kids are going to Patchogue, Medford. It's not an accurate statement. At this point, the most critical thing, if I learned anything from doing the high school renovations a couple of years ago, the drama is going to start now. Everybody is anxious. The teachers are calling. They want to get into their buildings because they're used to getting into their buildings starting this week. So they're all antsy. They're trying to go into this site.
Sure.
The guards now are waving people away, and it's not. We just need a lot of patience, a lot of understanding, with the clear understanding that this is what these two gentlemen do. They have never missed a deadline yet, and we're going to work to it, and it's going to be a long next 2.5 weeks. I wish it was only 2 weeks. I'm going to talk to them when we walk out. 2 weeks, not 2.5. I need to get it a little sooner. But yes, we are going to begin to start moving furniture and boxes in the end of this week. We're going to start pushing the envelope to get everyone working together, because I need to get the material in so that the second we can let staff in. But right now, there's nothing that we know that is not allowing us to occupy both buildings for the opening of school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenn.
Oh, wait, I just have 2 more quick questions. One is the bleachers for the high school. Where does that sit? That's SED approval. What's the delay?
We are just finalizing and coordinating some components of the bleachers with the existing press box. Still on schedule to put that out to bid in a couple weeks, and anticipate that being built November, December.
Okay. And I know it's not a bond project, but can anyone give an update on the concession stand? I see they're doing a tremendous amount of work, the volunteers.
I can.
How's it look?
It is looking good. We have again, another plumber problem. We have, again, another trade problem with the plumber. I am meeting with the community member Thursday to try to work out a revised timeline. They were planning on having the pavers and the building completely buttoned up before the beginning of school. I will have a revised update. I think my meeting is at 3 o'clock on Thursday, so we'll probably come home in the following week's update. But they are actively want to get the project completed. They are just as disappointed with that progress, and they're definitely realizing how when one sub is delayed, the domino effect of what it's actually doing on all the other subs. And since it's a community-driven project, whenever they have that block of time, they lose that block when someone pushes off their date, and now have to wait for the next trade to get that free block of time. But they're anxious. It looks
great.
It looks great.
Yeah.
For anyone
Last
who
couple
hasn't been
weeks,
down there, it looks great.
It's been great. Yep.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
On to votes and resolutions. Does anybody have any questions about the minutes of July 11th, 2017? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from July 11th? Aaron, can I get a second? Kimberly, all in favor? 7-0. Anybody have any questions about the minutes from July 18th, 2017? Can I get a motion?
I'm going
Oh,
to abstain
sorry.
from that one.
Go ahead.
I'll abstain since I was not at the meeting.
Okay, that's fine. Can I get a motion? Aaron, second. Kimberly, all in favor? Henry?
Sorry.
All opposed? All abstain? 601. Anybody have any questions about the resolutions? Okay to take them as a block? Can I get a motion to approve resolutions 17-18-022 through 17-18-023?
Motion.
Mike, can I get a second? Henry?
Sorry, Mike who?
Mike Iannucci. Henry's the second. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you very much to the Miller PTO for their donation. For the personnel agenda, does anybody have any questions? There is one change to the personnel agenda. We are removing K5. Okay, removing K5 from the personnel agenda. Is it okay if we take that as a block?
That includes